once more we voyage into your homes with another of our round table performances, if you like, if you want to call it that. This time we're going to be returning to another thing that I've written, which, you know, potentially has the legs to be made at some point in future. It's called Death and Taxes, which is a catchy title. Surprised no one has ever used it before. Now, this is a Shakespearean-style medieval history saga that some have likened to Shakespeare in the use of language and powerful characterization. So it's not just me, we've had lots of comments, and we even had a viewer request saying that Death and Taxes sounds like Shakespeare. Could you do some Shakespeare to prove it? And we did it, and they were right. They were right about that. In this scene, we move 5 years ahead of the scene that we did previously for avid viewers, and we catch up with Henry Castledrake crusading in the Holy Land, served ably by his friend and confidant, Mike Oglesby. With a battle looming in this arid place, the two reflect on their time away when news comes from England. Right. Now, in terms of roles, I think we'll start with you playing Henry, because you played Henry in the previous scene. So
Okay.
that would be an interesting, just so, you know, because it helps people to, like, who call
Connect the
back,
dots,
you know, oh,
yeah.
it's that person.
Yeah.
I'll try and stay out of this one. So which of you wants to be Mike, and which one of you wishes to be the messenger?
Do you have a preference?
No particular preference. Up
Nor
to you.
me. Whatever you think's the right casting.
Okay, well maybe it'd be too much girl if it's two girls playing both men is a bit, you know. So you can be Mike and you can be the messenger. And to be honest, I mean, messengers were usually men as well. So I'm still deviating quite far from the norm there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will do the narration, and that is it. So.
And we're doing RP English, is that
Yeah.
the general?
This
yeah.
is
Shakespearean.
and you're also, you know, you come from noble blood.
Right.
So pretty plummy.
Right. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Okay.
He's very noble. You're like close to, but not quite on that level.
Okay.
You can maybe be a Cockney because
Again.
all right, I'm the messenger. You know,
Makes sense.
Sure.
my lad. I don't think I've written that, but actually I might have done. Are you? Who isn't ready?
I'm ready.
Well, yeah, good to go.
We're all ready. Yeah.
You're ready.
Yeah. I feel
Okay.
good.
And go.
Sunrise comes at an instant in this land, yet its light reminds there is nothing to see.
Come, good friend. You give me cause to believe you no longer wonder at the delights of sand and heat.
Droll as ever, Mike. I suppose I should savour even these moments, what with what is to come.
Mike spies a man on horseback in the far distance, a bit like that shot in Lawrence of Arabia. Do you know the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is that yonder, on horseback?
They wait until what turns out to be a messenger arrives.
I've news for Henry Castledrake. News from England.
I am he, give it.
My lord?
Lord? Son of a lord, you mean?
Alas, my words were correct. Your father is dead. His title passes to you. I regret the nature of my delivery.
Henry. My lord, my condolences.
When?
Not more than 2 months.
Very well.
Henry retrieves a coin from his purse and passes it to the messenger, who nods and mounts his horse and leaves.
The battle?
Over for me. I must return now.
We will be at a loss without you.
We're already at a loss, Mike. What are we doing here? Fighting over dust for the Bishop of Rome, whilst England's crown and nobility tear themselves apart.
Perhaps the plan all along.
Do not jest on these matters, Mike. England is weak while its old men squabble, and its young die for a land that asks it for nothing. I will go. Before nightfall.
So soon?
It is 2 months since my father...
causes for sentimental effect.
The crows will be circling. My sister cannot hold the fort.
A plucky young girl, Alice.
Oh, were she a boy, I'd have no fears. But as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away.
Henry turns from the rising sun and back into the western gloom as stirring music plays. Mike watches him leave. Okay. So, an interesting run through. I think Cockney was a mistake. So I think we'll keep it RP all the way through. I think Mike can be a bit more playful, until it gets a bit heavy. It does get heavy. Because I think it would become insulting if he was sort of maintain the playfulness.
Yeah.
But even then, he kind of, oh, she's all right, Alice. She's don't underestimate her and all of that,
Oh, that's okay.
Alice is the sister.
I misunderstood the meaning. I didn't realise it was like a...
Yeah, he knows. He knows Henry's sister.
Okay.
So, I would say this is a big moment for Henry.
Yeah.
In the whole saga, effectively. This is
Turning point.
season 4. And he has to go back to England and kick some butt.
Yeah.
So I think you all right?
Sorry.
So I think what you've got to do is even more kind of gravity. I'd go a bit slower, and then we've got a nice kind of light versus dark thing. The light's very important. I mean, I do kind of write it down, but like this, what we're doing is not only do we mention the light, and we mention the gloom as he turns, but it's also the light and the dark in the way that they feel about things. Because Mike is all for like, hey, we're crusading, guys, and Henry is like, this is bad. This isn't a good situation, and then here comes another bad situation.
Right.
So he is the gloom and he is the light, but even the light is tempered by the gloom, So it's got levels to it that, on first reading, clearly people don't quite get. But now I've told you what they are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know them.
Some more layers.
Because you will remember them.
Yeah.
With a battle looming in this place, the two reflect on their time away when news comes from England.
Sunrise comes at an instant in this land. Yet its light reminds me there's nothing to see.
Come, good friend. You give me cause to believe you no longer wonder at the delights of sand and heat.
Droll as ever, Mike. I suppose I should savour even these moments. What with what is to come.
Mike spies a man on horseback in the far distance, a bit like that shot in Lawrence of Arabia.
Who is that yonder, on horseback?
They wait until what turns out to be a messenger arrives.
I have news for Henry Castledrake. News from England.
I am he, give it.
My lord.
Lord? Son of a lord, you mean?
Alas, my words were correct. Your father is dead. His title passes to you. I regret the nature of my delivery.
Henry, my lord, my condolences.
When?
Not more than 2 months.
Very well.
Henry retrieves a coin from his purse and passes it to the messenger, who nods and mounts his horse and leaves.
The battle?
Over for me. I must return now.
Well, we will be at a loss without you.
We're already at a loss, Mike. What are we doing here? Fighting over dust for the Bishop of Rome, whilst England's crown and nobility tear themselves apart.
Perhaps the plan all along.
Oh, do not jest on these matters, Mike. England is weak, while its old men squabble, and its young die for a land that asks it for nothing. I will go
Oh,
before nightfall.
so soon?
'Tis 2 months since my father.
Pauses for sentimental effect.
The crows will be circling. My sister cannot hold the fort.
Oh, well, a plucky young girl, Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears, but as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away.
What's interesting, Henry turns from the rising sun back into the western gloom, stirring music plays, Mike watches him leave. What's interesting about like the repetition, yeah, at the end there,
Yep.
like people just reading that will go, oh, seems unnecessary. But they're wrong, because what you have to think about is the music. Because if you think of the music just
Right.
absolutely crescendoing,
Yeah.
so it's quite low when he says it the first time, I shall away, I shall away, da da da, da 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 da, as they're turning and like your head's turning and he's marching off into the gloom.
Right.
And, you know, the messenger's kind of looking at their coin and da 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 da, and then you get like a wide, really wide shot of them, like they're almost like dots, and you see him like get on his horse and
Yeah.
yeah, that's why it works,
Right.
because that's the kind of thing that isn't. You wouldn't normally see that in a script because they wouldn't think ahead that much. They wouldn't know what they were going to make in on quite that level. They'd go, oh, it'll be like this, and when we get there, you know, we'll make it up. But I know exactly how that's going to be. I know how I could probably write the music for it.
Yeah.
I'm that clear on this is how this must be. This is how it must be, right? And I think I don't want anybody to think that's unnecessary. And I think in future, when there's repetition, think about music, think about crescendos, think about all of that stuff very hard, and that the writer, if they're directing as well, probably has thought it through. At least in my case, yes.
But how will we know what your choices are going to be unless you put them in the script?
Well, exactly. You're agreeing with me.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, which is why you need to leave space for whatever choice
Well, there isn't.
comes.
But when you've done what's in the script, yeah, then do we really? I mean, if there's, we've been over the situation with film and whether to waste film or whether we've got like cards, memory cards and things.
Right.
But if you had film, it's very helpful to be very clear on what you're shooting. If you've got mess around time, then you go, oh, how should we do it this time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get the point across that without the music, because I didn't like you sort of like, oh, maybe that's a bit silly. It's not silly. It's really clever. It's important because with the music, it's like people watching that, if they were watching it on it's a series, it's not a film, but if they're watching it on a high quality home entertainment system, would be like, they would gasp at that moment.
What if you decide to not put music over it? And I've just done a very dramatic.
I wouldn't
perhaps
have
out
you
of
repeat
place.
that.
You'd never let that happen.
We wouldn't. The repetition, I think I'm being clear. The repetition is there because I know that the music will be there.
Well, you know for a fact you want to.
I
put
know
music there.
that the music
Okay.
will be there. If I didn't think the music would be there, I wouldn't have the repetition.
Right.
Would you then make the music before, say, shoot day, send it to actor, so they know what they're working with?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You see, the thing with me is I'm always thinking about logistics. Okay, so what I've done is I've created an economy there that most people, because they're kind of, let's be honest, wasting someone else's money. People are really great at that. They're like, oh, we've got someone else's money, we can waste it. Now what you're suggesting there is potentially helpful to an actor, but it would be a poor economy. because then you would be hamstrung by the music that you'd done. You would find that really constricting.
Right. There's no room for creativity.
So what there needs to be is this is why this is happening. So I've explained it to you, and you're like, powerful. Here it comes. So you play it in your head, and in a way, like you don't need to know what the notes are. Maybe I could like bring a small piano, or not an actual piano, but like play it to you, not like in rehearsal, so that you can imagine it. That's maybe a compromise.
Yeah. Just so then you're both like on the
like a
same
keyboard.
page.
Yeah.
Like on a
get
keyboard.
Portable one.
Yeah. And at least you'd know where the notes went. And you would. I shall away. I shall away. I shall away. Da da da.
So there's a drop off in the music. Yeah. Okay.
It's like editing the film. Certainly while shooting it, but possibly before you've shot it. I'm editing the film when I'm writing the script.
Right.
And one of the things they do, which is legitimately bad, is they will start shooting films and they've not written the script yet.
Oh.
Now,
That's
does anyone want to speak up for that way of doing things? So I tell you what,
God, frankly,
you'll have an enemy for life.
I mean,
it's
I
a bit
think...
of a cocky way to do things, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I just think improv's a bit of a waste of time.
That's a strong statement.
About the music though, you can get apps on your phone, so if you wanted we could do a read through, just sort of like, away. Oh, I've got it on silent, I'm sorry, that would have been more effective. Away.
Is that the kind of thing?
Yeah, do that then. So if we go from a plucky
stuff.
young girl Alice.
Okay.
Plucky young girl Alice.
Okay. Plucky young girl Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears. But as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away.
It's not quite how I'd imagine it, but I think part of the problem is, can I do it? Because if you're acting, it's too much.
Yeah, I'm multitasking. Yeah.
In the scene, that would be weird if you then had your phone.
Or
If Mike just got out with his phone.
Yeah,
I
that would
suppose-
be jarring.
I suppose they would have had a piano.
Oh, it doesn't. It's
but
not
then
like
it's a lot for a horse to carry.
Yeah, you're outside, aren't you?
Yeah.
you can't get it to play soft.
Well,
It's
it
just
doesn't have any
like-
pedals, so.
I mean, you're probably rich enough to have a grand piano outside, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah,
if I come
probably.
down on this really slowly,
Could you turn it down?
Yeah, you can turn the volume down.
is it that?
Yeah, try turning the volume down.
Oh, it's just going. Oh, it goes that way. Okay. All right. So do that again. That bit again. And that's up. I think I've got it up. Okay. Yep.
Well, a plucky young woman, Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears. But as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away. God.
Oh,
Excellent.
that
Really
works. I like
Do you
it.
play piano?
I actually in the past, yes, but this isn't. I see what it's trying to do. It isn't really like a piano. It's not quite like a piano. It looks like a piano,
But
it
it's a
plays the
phone.
notes that a piano does, but it's not.
It's not the shape
Like you
of a
wouldn't.
piano.
This will never replace a piano.
No, it's good for this sort of situation.
So, yeah,
But for the
very
score
convenient.
of the film, I imagine.
Okay,
you
I think one more time.
One more time, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
A plucky young girl, Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears.
Remember that
Sorry.
your father's just died.
Your father's died.
Maybe tell her that. Say, it's not in the script. Say
Yeah.
your father's died, and then we'll
Okay.
do the mic line.
Your father has died.
A plucky young girl, Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears. But as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away.
Powerful.
I think that's gold.
One more.
One more.
More. Okay.
Same again with the dead.
Yep. That works.
All right.
I think I'm in the good range here. It's the right. It's the right sort of range, I'd say.
Okay. A plucky young girl, Alice.
Were she a boy, I'd have no fears. But as she is in danger. I shall away. I shall away.
That's Emmy. That's Emmy stuff right there.
I think it is Emily's stuff.
Emmys and bastards.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
obviously we're having fun, but in all seriousness, I think I have rammed my point home there about if you prepare for these things, yeah, and you know that there's going to be a crescendo of music,
Yep.
then the line makes sense.
Yep.
And we're being a bit jolly about the whole thing, but there is a serious side to this, and
Yeah,
the serious
of
side
Yeah,
to
no,
it.
you're right.
The serious side to it is the fact that, you know, most, and I've considered this for Death and Taxes, most films and TV works to a budget. And that's an area of particular strength for me, because as I say, I don't just film a load of stuff and say, oh, look, you know, the editor can fix that. Oh, what, we overran a few days, not my money, who cares? No. I approach it as if it were my own money. This is very important. It's not done enough. Right? So I'm editing what I've written when I'm writing it. And you don't see that very often. Okay. So thanks for joining us for this one. And we'll be back in a few days with another one. Now, again, I'm being badgered to ask about subscriptions and bell icons. A bell icon, apparently you have to click the bell icon. And when you do that, when you click on the bell, what happens is when a new video comes from this channel, it means that your phone will go off, probably at a very inopportune time, to tell you that we've got a video out. Well, I believe it's going to be every 2 days at 6 p.m. So you don't need to hit the bell icon. You just need to remember it's 6 o'clock. It's been about 2 days since the last one. And please, please, please don't like this video unless you did like it. Because if there's one thing I hate about social media, if that's what YouTube is, not just social media, mainstream media, and frankly, personal discourse, if there's one thing I hate, it's liars. Don't lie to yourself, don't lie to me, don't lie to us. Okay. Bye.